Hello everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. It is so wonderful to be back with you. My name is Amy and I will be with you for the next few days here at Live at the Waterhole. And we are starting off at the beautiful Tembe Elephant Park in northern KwaZulu-Natal. Remember, as always, that this is a live and interactive show. So please do send through your comments and questions to me. I'd love to hear from you. Let's chat, ask your questions that you may have. And you can do so on the Wild Earth website or the app. You can also chat to us in the YouTube chat stream. Or you can also now use the new WhatsApp line, where you can submit your comments and questions to. Or as always, you can join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth. Deb Davis, hello, lovely to hear from you. It is great to be here with you as well. I've missed the Waterhole show, and it's good to be back and to know that we have a few days together. Wildlife Lady, thank you so much. It is so awesome to start off with a sighting like this here at Tembe. We always spoilt with elephants in this particular part of the world, and we have a group of regular bulls that come through, and now that the rains have come and almost gone actually, there's so much water around, and you can just see how these boys are enjoying all of the mud that's available to them. Blizzard King, you say, yeah, you love the Tembe Waterhole. I think it's on the list of favorites for many that do enjoy watching. And you're right, Penelope, there's been fantastic rain in the area. You can just see it. I mean, everything is sort of fully saturated. The grass is lovely and green. The vegetation is so lush. And Karen, yes, there's such beautiful weather here today. You can just tell it's a lovely day, can't you? the Ellies are enjoying the puddles. You can see it. I mean, it's the reason they hang out here so long and why these particular spots are so well used, whether it's for a drink or just to sort of churn up the mud so that they can throw it on their bodies. Anesu, you would like to know how far I am away from Johannesburg. So if you're referring to this waterhole, it's probably maybe between 600 to 700 kilometers from Joburg. I stand to be corrected. I'll just check exactly for you. But you basically drive almost directly east. As far as you can go until you reach pretty much the ocean. Then you'll get to this part of the world, maybe just slightly southeast from Johannesburg. I myself, I am sitting at Velgevonden Game Reserve at the moment, and that is about 2.5 hours from Joburg.
Seven nights on safari during the magnificent green season. The rains have stopped, the land is emerald, and there are wild babies everywhere. Meet your favorite presenters.
This is amazing.
And create unforgettable memories on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure.
Thank you for coming along on this little adventure.
The Green Season Grand Tour, only with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive. South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marlow Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Columba in the 2 cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
Wild Earth Travel would like to take you to Namibia and Botswana. Drift over the desert in a hot air balloon, then glide through the lush Okavango Delta in a dugout canoe. This extraordinary journey blends dramatic landscapes with outdoor adventures and unparalleled wildlife encounters. Discover Africa like never before. Book now with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Karen, that is such an interesting question. Thank you for asking that. You want to know if all the tail hairs are the same in all the other animals like a zebra in comparison to elephants. And in essence, yes, they would be the same. Hair on mammals is made from keratin. So it's the same base, it's the same substance. It's just formed in different ways. So you'll find that there are some that are, of course, more wiry and thicker, like on an elephant tail. It almost, I've been lucky enough to hold elephant tail in my hands and be able to feel it myself. And it almost is like a thin piece of wire. That's what it feels like. Whereas something on like a zebra or wildebeest is a lot thinner. It's still thick-ish, but it's a lot thinner, but still made of the same substance. If then you look at something like a kudu's tail or a nyala, and then even look at things like leopards and lions, that's a much finer fur-like substance or texture, should I say, than something like as big as an elephant or even a rhino. And that, I think, is linked to the size of the animal and the purpose of the hair that's on them. So I hope that answers your question. Deb, no, I didn't grow up in northern KwaZulu-Natal. I did my training, and my first bit of time in the bush was spent in KwaZulu-Natal, northern Zululand, at and beyond Pinda Private Game Reserve. So that is why I'm somewhat familiar. And I have this area has a very special place in my heart. But I actually grew up in the Eastern Cape of South Africa, so I spent most of my childhood going to areas such as Addo Elephant National Park and Mountain Zebra National Park. But we did go to Hluhluwe Umfolozi, which is the sort of the big national park that is not too far away from Tembe, a little bit further south, I believe. A lot of history steeped in that game reserve. Anas, yes, that is why elephants are moving their ears a lot. You can see all of these boys are constantly flapping their ears, and on warmer days we see that action taking place a lot more than on cooler days, and that is to do, as you've said, with cooling down. An elephant's ear is quite thin in comparison to the rest of its body, and it's got a very large surface area that's knitted with a network of blood vessels. And so what happens is, as they flick their ears forward and backwards, so the air goes over that surface area, and the blood is very close to the surface and is able to cool down before it goes to the brain, as well as the rest of the body. Giraffe Girl, good morning to you. Well, should I say good afternoon? It's already that time. I can't believe it. But thank you for joining us. And what a way to start off with some beautiful elephants for sure. Wow, Helga Foree, thank you for sending through that very interesting information and a bit of history about Tembe Elephant Park. And about 60 years ago, you say that the area where Tembe is now was used as school biology camps, or for school biology camps. That is so interesting. Thank you for letting us know, Helga. Jackie, hi. You want to know what the lifespan of elephants are and if they have a specific territory or just wander around sort of near the nearest water source. So an elephant's lifespan is generally, we say, about 60 years, but that is plus or minus, Jackie. So it can be somewhat less, and it can also be up to even 80 years in some places where they have a lot of grass to eat, like in Botswana, for example, because that links to the wear and tear on their teeth. And that is what determines how long they live and how long their bodies can survive, because it all has to do with the nutrition. And they have a limited amount of sets of teeth in their life. And when that runs out, or when that wears away, when the final set gets to a point where they can't sort of break up the vegetation that they're eating, that then determines, the body starts to shut down eventually. And when we see elephants dying of old age, really, and that is usually 50, 60 years or so in the areas that we are visiting most frequently. In terms of them being territorial, no. So elephants are not territorial animals. We refer to them as having home ranges. And yes, those home ranges will certainly include water sources. So they can be nearby to water, but they can also, there's some bulls in the Kruger that roam the entire length of the Kruger National Park from north to south. And they've been seen at all different areas from central to south to far north, and that is 300 kilometers in length, plus minus. So that is herds tend to sometimes stick to more localized regions, but they don't have a fixed territory. And in the summertime they tend to actually move somewhat less than the winter, where in the winter, in the drier months, they have to travel further to find water sources, as well as enough nutritious vegetation. To get enough in, they need to travel further as well.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
Kev, hi. You are asking how many lumbar vertebrae extend into an elephant's tail, and is this standard for all tailed mammals? So when it comes to an elephant's spine, the tail is of course an extension of that spine that goes all the way down to the tip of the tail. We refer to those bones in the tail though as the caudal bones, or vertebra, as it were. In terms of the lumbar vertebra, there are typically 5 in an elephant, and the entire sort of spine consists of 44 to 54 vertebra, compared to us as people who only have 24. So they have a lot more, and that includes the caudal, which is part of the tail. And the tail itself has 20 to 25 bones. So it does depend on each individual elephant exactly how many vertebrae they have. It's not exact, it can vary, whether it's male versus female, or just in terms of, you know, how big the elephant is, if they have a specific longer tail or a shorter tail. But it is about that amount. In terms of it being the same as all mammals, no, it varies from my understanding in terms of the spinal column and the extension into the caudal region from mammal to mammal, or for those that vertebrate animals, depending on, you know, whether they have a tail or not. If we think of some animals with much longer tails, they would have more bones. So it does vary. But very interesting question. Thank you, Kev. Well, let's head over to Nkoro and do some birding. Ah, lovely. We have some helmeted guinea fowl that have come for a drink. Raw, hello to you. Thanks for saying hi. And you are just saying thank you for introducing Aardwolf to the viewers. You had never seen them before and think they are the most beautiful creatures. Well, for those of you who may not know what Raw is talking about, at Mabula Private Game Reserve, where I've just been doing some filming as well as live drives there, we have the privilege of being able to spend time with these little creatures called aardwolves. They are part of the hyena family, one of the 4 species that fall into the group known as Hyenidae. And they are just fascinating, rather elusive, very shy most of the time in normal circumstances, but at Mabula they've become very used to the vehicles, I suppose, much like the leopards of the Sabi Sands in some ways, and we're very lucky with that and being able to spend time with them. They are beautiful, sort of look most similar to a black-backed jackal that we see on the shows fairly regularly, size-wise, but they are not a canine or related to canines, but they just sort of, that's the size of them, and they are so adorable as well, very cute little faces. Sandy Franklin, hello, good morning to you. You say that you're late to getting on board this morning. That's no problem. At least you have joined us. Deb, you say their bodies don't quite match their chicken-like heads. Guinea fowl are very interesting, I must say, and I love to sit and watch them, especially if they come across a big pile of elephant dung or something like that, and you see them sort of foraging through it. That's always interesting to see. And actually very beautiful birds on closer inspection, with the different coloration around their face, very bright blue with red helmets, and then their black grey sort of charcoal coloured bodies with those little white spots. lovely. Let's head up to Kenya now and see what birds have arrived at Lentor. Oh, wow. I don't want to get too excited about this particular, I think that's a duck or a goose in the tree. It's a bit unclear exactly what it is. I don't think I've seen this here before. I wonder if there's only one or any others around. There's a hammerkorb. I didn't even see that. Goodness me, that was so well camouflaged. Well done to the zoomies. That's excellent work there.
Zitatamana wena, moya wa mina, ukomba wena, takuranza loko tamana wena.
It's been a great morning out and about and exploring.
That is amazing. It's very hard to explain what this feels like.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature. My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so because I've... Best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
We are here with a male leopard.
peafowls also related to peacocks. So in the broader scheme of things, they are both considered to be game birds. But in terms of taxonomically, other than both being part of the aves group, they are not related. So peafowl or peacocks are part of the same sort of family as that of turkeys and chickens, pheasants, quails, those sorts of things, whereas guinea fowl belong to a completely different family that isn't related to peafowl. You can actually hear the hammerkop calling now. It's one of the first, not the first, but one of the original bird calls that I learned because it stands out so much to me. Ah, well, we're being spoilt with the birds today. Let's head over to Tau. Here we have a grey heron, pretty much a resident here at Tau's waterhole. I'm just trying to decide if it's going to start hunting. It looks like it was doing some stretches or something there. A little while ago, we also were actually seeing the black-headed heron here as well. I don't know if that was recently seen again, but it was wonderful to show you both species and the differences between them, the grey heron being more water-based and the black-headed being more sort of in the felt-based or in the grasses. There are also some impalas there in the background. Kev, you're asking if the aardwolf is also a scavenger like the rest of the hyena family. So no, it is not. It's one of the things that make the aardwolf unique within the hyena family, and it actually feeds exclusively on termites. So it doesn't eat anything else. It has a very unique tongue, long and sticky. Well, I suppose that's not very unique. There are other animals that have long sticky tongues, but for mammals to have a long sticky tongue like that, and then the fact it's also it just looks different. I've been lucky enough to see it quite close up now and even look at it with binoculars. It's quite rounded almost, and much like, I suppose, the other animals like pangolin and aardvark that practice almost identical behavior, feeding on termites and ants, but for the aardwolf specifically termites. And yes, so it's not hunting other mammals or anything like that, or then scavenging off carcasses. It is adapted to only live off of termites. There's a white-faced whistling duck as well as an Egyptian goose in the background. Blacksmith lapwing. Sandy, you said that you're afraid of herons. You ran into a blue one that was not friendly. Well, I'm sorry you had a traumatizing experience. I also had a friend who was terrified of pigeons because she was mobbed, or she felt like she was mobbed once in some sort of square in Europe, where there tend to be a lot of these pigeons around. So I understand that anything that any experience that one has that can be a bit traumatizing leads us to maybe not like a particular animal. I'm actually afraid of like farm geese. My mom told me that on their farm that she had growing up on, they used to have the geese as basically watchdogs because they were very good at making a lot of noise and chasing people. Well, here we have a beautiful elephant. Oh, wow. Look at that. Some very light dust there as he's throwing on himself as he walks. Isn't that just beautiful? Wow. The wind is going in the perfect direction. And so he has arrived for a drink. Jean, you'd like to know if we have any crocodiles in your river. So depending on the reserves that we visit, some do have crocs and some don't. So for example, here at Tau there are crocodiles, but if we head to areas within Etosha in Namibia and places that don't have large river systems, then there won't be crocodiles because there's no way of them to get to an area. So in terms of Tembe, I'm sure there are crocs as well, some very large rivers that flow in KwaZulu-Natal, like the Hluhluwe, the Mfolozi, the Tugela, lots of them carrying with them the Mkuzi as well, crocs and hippos. Oh wow, look at that. Hooray. It's always special to have a herd of elephants arriving here. And this particular waterhole, Jean, we see a croc here, at least one, but definitely two, if not more than that. I think we had 3 or 4 at one time. that had a warthog kill. And I think there was a wildebeest that was taken by one, seen through Africam here. So the crocs are definitely active at this waterhole.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
Karen, yes, we do see lions at Tau. I remember, I haven't seen them recently, but they have been seen here. There's definitely lions that occur in Madikwe, so anything that is on Madikwe as a reserve has a chance to pop out here at the waterhole. And I know one time we had a lion far in the distance, that was during one of my live at the waterhole shows previously. I do love when zebras rest on each other's backs like this. It's just so cute, and I think it plays into, their connection as a family group, and the fact that they feel so comfortable to be able to rest their head on another one's back, or even sometimes their rump on the back, sort of above the tail. Well, interestingly enough, there apparently is a carcass that's in the water from yesterday at Vic Falls, so let's head over there. Well, this is very interesting. I think the carcass is there on the far side. So Gwen is directing the show today. She says that we know that it is an impala. I wouldn't have been able to tell you it's an impala, I must say. That looks like a very generic sort of light belly with maybe some sort of a bit of darker coloration there. So it's interesting. It's apparently not clear what killed this impala or how it died. Obviously nothing was seen that can be known exactly if it was a crocodile or if it drowned or maybe, I don't know, collapsed from a snake bite. Who knows what could be the case here. It's interesting that nothing has come. Yeah, we know, there's a crocodile. There's a crocodile moving. So I would assume that maybe The crocs are just waiting for it to soften up a little bit more before they start eating it. Lorraine, it can be a matter of hours. It can be a matter of days in terms of how long the crocs possibly would take to eat this carcass. I do know that when it comes to carcasses, they'll sometimes let them sit in the water for days to sort of start to break down and make them easier to consume, and not necessarily eat it straight away. So whatever they catch, they'll take it down underwater and drown the prey, if it is obviously a mammal that they've caught. And then sometimes they'll just leave it and let it sort of start to decompose a bit so that it softens up and it's easier for them to eat it. So I don't know if this is an older carcass that has now sort of bloated enough that it's floated up to the surface after a few days, which is also possible. But soon enough, the crocs will start to eat it, especially if it was actually caught by a crocodile and it's there to be eaten. Okay, so we just got some confirmation that the crocodile did take the impala, and yes, I suppose now it is waiting for the time when to carry on eating it. Sandy, you say that there were crocodiles eating it last night. Okay, so they have started, and like I said, I think, depending on how full their tummies are, there's no real rush for them. Nothing else is necessarily going to come into the water to take their food. So I suppose when they're good and ready, they'll come back and continue feeding on it. And there is at least one croc that we can see that I'm sure is part of the feasting crew. That heron caught a fish there. I think it's a fish. success. And just like that, it's gone. Let's head up to Oldonyo in East Africa.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today.
I get to wake up every morning and go out there and look for cats. I get to create my everyday safari for myself. I grew up in the sort of central eastern suburbs of Johannesburg, fully qualified trails guide and a fully qualified nature conservationist. I love the wild places. I love being in the wilderness. It's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had and probably ever could have.
Lady Macbeth, it is nice to see the smaller things, absolutely. And this agama is being so obliging here on its pile of poop. It's obviously just a good vantage point, and it's made the most of the natural surroundings to get a bit of a higher view. It's actually quite flat here around Oldonyo, so it's very clever for this little one to have climbed up this pile of elephant dung. It seems to be going and coming back. Maybe it spots something. Jeepers, it is like Speedy Gonzales. This agama. I know, Penelope, what a pose. Now we even have a better pose going on here. I don't think I've ever seen a lizard from this angle. Technically an agama, but part of the same family. And I must say, it's the first time in quite a long time that it's been so quiet here. We often have elephants, giraffes moving through very regularly. Wildlife lady, you say that little female agama is becoming a regular here at Oldonyo. She likes that sunbathing spot. Well, it does seem quiet here at the moment. We'll have to see if anything else pops out. But let's head back over to some zebra at Tau. Well, it's always nice to see some zebra, but let's head over to a bird at Founders. think we have a pair of yellow-billed ducks. And they are busy feeding for sure. You can see the sort of ground or mud that comes up on their bills. And these ducks would basically be combing through the soil underneath for plant matter, perhaps small plants that are growing there, but also insect larvae, maybe something like even snails maybe that are in the water, although maybe not so much in the water, maybe on the bank or in the ground if they were doing any sort of foraging on the shore. But any sort of aquatic invertebrates as well.
We have just had our efforts paid off.
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Wow, well, we are being spoilt here from quite a quiet little visit with a Kenyan rockagama earlier to a beautiful elephant that came for a cool down. He's already making his way off and clearly just came to just cool himself off while he heads back to start feeding. And a giraffe, of course, that I think now, there we go, I thought that might happen. She's coming forward to have a drink now that the elephant has finished with his. And in the background, Mount Kilimanjaro, there we saw the snow cap shortly. There's also a bit of another mountain. I don't know its exact name or if it's part of the same, but one of the ones that are basically volcanoes, which is fascinating to me. But it is gorgeous. Sandra, the birds that I can see are oxpeckers, and they're sitting on the giraffe's neck there at the moment. I'm not sure of any other species. There are a few butterflies around still, but at the moment the birds there that are just flying from one to the other giraffe are red-billed oxpeckers. the mount that's just sticking out to the left there could be Mount Mawenzi, just based off of some research I've done. That's sort of one of the closest peaks that can be seen within view of Mount Kili. So it's always interesting to learn here on the Waterhole show. Dark Main Lover, the clouds are beautiful, aren't they? We sort of got these light, puffy, cumulus clouds quite often here at Oldonyo. Minxie, thanks for confirming that about the mountains. I'm glad that what I was thinking was correct. It's always good to hear. And beautiful, beautiful views that we have from this spot of the giraffe, the clouds and the mountains. Wow, there we go. I think they may have been mating earlier as well, because we heard the exact same call, we just couldn't see them. Perfect timing there. And somewhere this pair would have a nest close by, a nest that is actually the largest of any monogamous pairing bird that don't live in a community group. The sociable weaver, of course, building a much larger nest, but for just 2 birds, they build extremely large nests in the forks of trees. Now this is very interesting. I've just read about the hammerkop, which I didn't know because I hadn't seen it before, is actually that they take part in what's called false mounting. So I don't know if they actually copulated there or not. But it says that the most characteristic and bizarre of the ritualized displays is the false mounting, in which one bird jumps onto the back of another as if intending to copulate, stands there beating its wings and calls, which I think is exactly what we have just seen. It's very fascinating, I must say, to read that this bird does that. And the way to confirm, I suppose, would to be actually look at their laying dates and when they actually do breed. Okay, so for Southern Africa, they can breed all the way from January to November. In South Africa, July to January. So I suppose they could now. This is, of course, East Africa. But it's very interesting to note that they do take part in this sort of false mounting behavior. Well, apparently some more birds have appeared, so let's head up to Oldonyo. We have a pair of African hawk eagles here, which is so cool to see. Wow. Very nice. Wow, all of a sudden it's turning into quite the birding afternoon. My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Ahina nchumo, ahina maka Emafokweni ya milu, ahina maka Lifasira mina ritapela Zatsemba, utatsamana mina.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
I love the look of the bird. I think it's very unique, and also the coloration. It's some of my favorite colors, sort of a burnt orangey color with black and white. I love that sort of look of it. I also absolutely love the call of the gorgeous bushshrike. I think it is a beautiful bird, but it's one of my favorite sounds to hear in areas where they occur, specifically actually in northern KwaZulu-Natal, there around where Tembe is. I would just love for these birds to actually come to the waterhole, maybe for a drink. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Well, let's head over now to Botswana and see some elephants at Elephant Pan. Looks like they are starting to have a bit of a pool party. Fingers crossed. Looks like there's one wading closer to us this side too. It's always lovely to see elephants at the waterhole, and this is such a beautiful spot with the reflections like this. And I think very early in the morning, when it's completely still, it must be like a mirror here.
Experience the magic of the wild on an unforgettable 4-night safari at Mabula Nature Reserve. Hosted by the one and only Stephen Falconbridge. With Steve as your private guide, you'll gain incredible insights into Africa's wildlife, leaving with knowledge and memories to last a lifetime. Get hands-on with conservation, track elusive cheetahs, and even take to the skies on a hot air balloon ride. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
Best sighting I've presented, I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala, we got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special.
Join the Wild Earth Explorers program and connect with a community passionate about wildlife. Support our mission to share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Your monthly contribution helps provide schools and children access to kids' safaris, fostering a love for nature in the next generation. Embrace the wonders of the bush and make a difference today. Wild Earth, connecting with nature. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Well, it is a beautiful scene here as that elephant moves away. Wildlife Lady, you have enjoyed today's live at the Waterhole. Thanks to myself, FC, and the Zoomies. Yes, thank you for joining us. I'm glad that you have enjoyed today's show. Let's head back over to the elephants that are at Elephant Pan. You can see that elephant on the left there having a little bit of a rub against the base of these mapani trees, and I think that's something that these eddies do quite regularly. They love using these trees around here as a bit of a rubbing post, or sometimes even to rest against. There we can see quite a large bull on the right doing just that. Oh, finding the right spot there. Dark Main Lover, thank you so much for your kind words. It was a wonderful show today. Time absolutely flew by. Goodness me, I can't believe we're just about at the end. We really did have a wonderful show filled with so much variety. Elephants, giraffes, some interesting birding behavior. And some lovely conversation. Thank you to all of you for sending through all of your comments and questions today. It was really interesting to chat about all sorts of things, from spinal columns and vertebrate structures of elephants to, you know, everything else that we covered today. Crocodiles and birds. The makeup of tail hair on mammals. Very fascinating. I think these two are not going anywhere very quickly. I think these boys will hang out here for a little bit longer. And now that they've cooled down nicely, maybe slowly later they'll venture off in between the mapani thickets to feed. But I'm sure they are going to live their best lives out here at Elephant Pan. Well, everyone, we have come to the end of the show today. Once again, thank you so much to all of you for joining us and participating in the show. For those of you who did send through your comments and questions, it's always appreciated. We will be back tomorrow, and I'll be here with you once again to host live at the Waterhole. Remember that in an hour's time there is the Sunset Safari for all our YouTube members and explorers. Your exclusive safari begins at 3:30 p.m. But to everyone else, we will see you again tomorrow. Goodbye for now.